Good Friday morning to you. This is Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a couple things I'd like to go over. One is Simplicity 8294, which I made as my Easter dress. I think I told you I was going to do that. At one point, we talked about doing that as a sew-along. However, when I went to do the dress, I hit some snags. I don't think it would be a great first project for you, so I have chosen something else for that. So, but I would like to give you a review of that pattern. Also, I want to talk to you about Friday Sewing School. A week from today, we're going to start Friday Sewing School. And I have this list, which I'm going to make downloadable below, of 50 skills needed to become not an expert, but an intermediate sewer, and that you could just about tackle any pattern. What I'd like to do is just start at the basic. So Friday videos, if you're one of my sewing friends that already sews, you might want to wait a couple weeks to jump in, because I'm going to be pretty basic in the beginning. But I want to make it so that if you watch the Friday videos for a year, you could start from never having touched a sewing machine to being able to sew something like a coat. So that is my goal, and we will begin that next week. So mark your calendars, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any. Tuesday videos will still be chit chat, show and tell, what I love going on in the sewing world, all kinds of things. But Fridays are going to be Friday Sewing School. But today, I want to talk to you just a little bit about my April makes, and also Simplicity 8294. So I didn't get as much done in April as I planned. I was gone a week, which significantly decreases sewing time. But also, as a worship leader, I was so busy with Easter. So I only made really 3 things. One, the sewing basket that I made for my Sew Swap friend, which I'll put a picture up here, but I did show it in another video. And then my Easter dress, which was Simplicity 8294, which is full of lemony goodness, which I will show you in a moment. And then I also made the Ruffle Sleeve top from In the Folds from Peppermint Magazine, which is a free pattern. I'll put that up here, and link to the pattern down in the description. I loved it. I made it the day before my trip because I wanted another top to take with me. I used some of the fabric that I bought at the expo. It was cool, comfortable, not a problem with any part of that pattern. I loved it. I will make more of that, so I highly recommend that pattern. All right, Simplicity 8294. Well, let me tell you that I ended up with absolute lemony goodness. And if you can see in the picture here, I felt amazing when I wore that dress. I'll be honest with you. I don't have always a great body image, but that dress fit so well that it made me feel wonderful. So the picture up there, you can see that I thought I looked pretty good. I don't know, maybe I didn't. But anyway, Simplicity 8294 is a vintage dress, and I'm sorry for the crumpled envelope, but it's been well used. When I went to make it, I looked at the measurements, and I chose based on my bust measurement, and which my bust is about a 43. So between 42 and 44 would be between a size 20 and 22, which is pattern sizes run very small compared to ready to wear. But the waistline, I have a thick waist because I'm 61. Everybody is 61 has a thick waist. So anyway, I had to add a little in the waist. So I went by that, and I decided maybe I better make a muslin. Well, when I made the muslin, I noticed a couple things. One, the bust darts were way too high, which I actually knew that I was going to have to lower those. And then I noticed that I had a bunch of gaping right here. And it just didn't look good. So I thought about taking more darts, but I love that print so much. I didn't want to interrupt the print. So first I tried going smaller and doing a full bust adjustment. That didn't quite work out well. It just didn't look right. So what I ended up doing was a narrow shoulder adjustment, and it took 3 muslins to get it right. But I finally did, and I was very happy with the result. So my recommendation about this pattern would be that I recommend it, but I recommend it for someone who's sewn a few things, not for someone who this is your first project. Because I do think that there's some adjustments that need to be made. Another thing is the collar. The collar turned out wonderful, and I didn't have any problems with it, but it could be tricky, I think, for somebody who's not done a collar before, because it had to fit just right, and it took a lot of finagling of ease to get it to lay absolutely, come together in the back and the front. The little tabs, I did make this view here, view B, I believe it was. Yes, B. And I wasn't going to put the waistline tabs, but I ended up putting them in. Those went fine, as long as you use good interfacing. That works out really well. My dress did wash really well. Took it to Texas with me and wore it again. I love, love, love this dress, and I love this pattern, but my recommendation is don't do it as your first project. Do it as 4 or 5 projects in. It's a great if you have never done a gathered skirt before, that part is not hard at all. It's just the fitting of the bodice was a little bit tricky, I think. Had it been princess seams, I think it would have been a lot easier. But since it was just back darts and bust darts, it was a little tricky. It does have a side zipper as well. It calls for a regular zipper. I actually chose to put an invisible zipper in. I actually think they're easier, and as we get to our Friday sewing school skills, that'll be one of them. But don't be afraid of I can't say invisible. Don't be afraid of invisible zippers, because I actually prefer them over any other kind, because I think they're way, way easier than the other ones. Anyway, I love this pattern, so don't be afraid to go ahead and purchase this pattern. It's great for a border print. I was going to, there was another dress I wanted to do with this, but with that fabric. However, a border print can't have anything that's cut like a circle skirt, or else, the border doesn't stay continuous at the bottom. So this one worked perfectly for a border print. It looked vintagey. It was fresh, happy. I loved it. Can't say enough good about it, but take your time fitting it. It was worth, though, every minute that it put into it. So next Friday, we're going to start at the basic. Let me pull up my notes here of exactly what we're going to do, because I want to be accurate. Next Friday, we are going to, pulled up my monthly sewing makes instead of my vlog. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with the basic supplies that you need to gather before you start an adventure in sewing. So like I said, it's going to be very basic. I'm going to talk about choosing a sewing machine. And then I'm also going to, I think I'm going to film 2 videos and release them on the same day, because I don't want to bore people who already know these things, but I want the information to be available to you if you don't know. So I'm going to release 2 videos on the same day. One will be gathering basic sewing supplies, things you need in your sewing space to begin. Obviously, you accumulate a lot of things over time, but the very, very basic things that you need to get started. And then sewing machine basics. So those will be 2 separate videos. I'm going to have some practice sheets that you can practice sewing a straight line, a curved line, those kind of things. And those will all be downloadable. Everything you need for this course will be downloadable right from the links in the descriptions. And I also, the only thing you'll need to buy is your supplies, fabric, that kind of thing. But lessons will be completely free, so recommend them to anyone who has been saying, hey, I would really love to sew, but I don't know where to start. And again, to my more advanced sewing friends who I love very much, I say, you might not, you can skip the Friday videos if you like, unless you just like a refresher or you just like to see how I'm going about doing it. Because there will be, it will be basic. So some of you may want to skip the first few weeks if you know already your way around a sewing machine and that kind of thing. Next week's videos you won't need to watch. But after that, we are going to talk about how to choose a needle, how to choose the proper thread. We're going to start a sew along, and the pattern that I have chosen for our sew along to learn basic skills is the Cadence dress from Love Notions. It's a simple shift dress with like a little casing that has a gather, which is optional actually. So it was something that I think will be very simple. I will walk you through it. I'll hold your hand all the way through. On the Friday Sewing School comments, if you have a question, I will definitely get back to you ASAP. So definitely leave your questions. If you look at my list of sewing skills, which I said was 50, but I actually threw one more on there, so it's 51. But if you think of any other skills that should be on this basic list, please let me know, because obviously I'm just human, and I talked through sewing something in my brain. So my brain obviously is human, so I may have forgotten something, and it'll come up as we do sew-alongs and questions come up and that kind of thing. But I needed to have a place to start, and I needed you to feel like you're accomplishing something. So as you check things off, you can feel like, look, I started not knowing any of this, and now I am down to number 22. Through the first few weeks, we're going to get through probably at least half of the list. And then over the course of a year, we will cover every single thing on that list. And then you'll be teaching me new things, because you'll be out there watching other YouTubers and picking up techniques that, the one thing about the sewing community is that we all share information and we all learn from each other. So no matter how long you've been sewing, I've been sewing for 56 years. No matter how long you've been sewing, you can always learn something. So I watch a lot of other YouTubers who are my dear friends, and I pick up things from them every single day. So that's all I have for today, but I would love to take you along with me for Friday Sewing School. Tell your friends, subscribe down below, and definitely hit the little bell so that you get notified when new videos are posted. There will be 2 basic skills videos next week on Friday. And after that, it will probably be just 1 every Friday as we chop away through those skills. And definitely would love to have you come along. Have a wonderful day. I will see all of my regular subscribers on Tuesday with another show and tell, sewing inspiration, my regular videos. So have a wonderful day and have a great weekend, and I'll see you Tuesday. Happy sewing.